This podcast may contain adult themes and triggering topics. Please be kind to yourself if you get triggered by what we discuss.
Also, this isn't a substitute for therapy or counseling. Please listen to the appendix at the end for some of our recommendations for resources that will help you find a qualified mental health care provider.
Now, we take you to a time in the near future where emotional abuse has been appropriately deemed a crime, and the survivors find a home to reclaim their lives and freedom. This is Haven, and these are the stories of the Reclaimers.
Feeny? Phoenix? You wanted me to tell you when it was 0800.
Give me 5 more minutes.
Absolutely, I can.
What happened?
He can't find Percy. He went to broadcast to her this morning, and she didn't answer, and he can't find her in their little teletunnel. But seriously, what do we call that? That thing they share? Anybody have a name for that yet?
Rainbow Bridge?
While I would love to debate the finer points of Norse mythology with you, I'm not good with leaving Feeny to fend for himself.
Feeny's fine. Whispering isn't helping. Just talk already.
You look ironical, sitting all zen in your suit and tie.
I needed the grass. I've never done this before.
Never done what?
I've never extended our Rainbow Bridge past a certain distance.
Never? What about when she was at the encampment?
We used old-fashioned vid chats for that. I've not lost her telepathically like this since the moment we first saw each other.
And when was that? I don't think I've ever heard how you met.
Trying to distract me?
Is it working?
I don't know.
Oh, hey, there you are. Where's Percy?
Have you talked with her?
Of course. I had dinner with her last night.
No, this morning. Addie said Percy left this morning really early, and I can't find her.
Ah, so more of the nothing?
No? I don't know. Today is not the day to be going rogue all alone. I am worried sick.
And not since you first met? She's not done this?
Nice distraction there, Sonia.
Thank you. And I truly mean to cajole you into answering, Feeny. What happened when you met?
Oh, yes, please. I could use a story.
Percy rescued me.
Like from a predator or something?
Sort of. I was speaking at the first-year assembly.
At Harvard?
Yes, it was the first day of orientation week.
Why were you speaking?
My secondary school counselor told me that Harvard liked leaders, so I volunteered to be a first-year mentor. I got roped into being on the student council, and they wanted a first year to do something on creating a good academic process.
Oh, I bet you hated that. All that meticulous planning?
Yeah. My biological father had been trying to get in contact with me after graduation.
That's a really mild way of saying that his father terrorized him all summer,
Percy, where have you been?
trying to make things as difficult as possible.
I have been worried sick, Percy.
Oh, Feeny, you're shaking. I'm so sorry, old friend.
Where were you?
Getting this?
Oh my goodness!
Is that a...
That's a real book.
Are those real pages? The made from stone kind?
No, this is even older. These are made from trees. Percy?
I ordered it last year as a thank you gift for holding down the Haven while I was on maternity leave. It took them this long to get the pages restored so you can read it as often as you like. Open it.
Persephone.
What does it say?
It's a first edition of The Never-Ending Story.
Wow.
I don't know what to say.
I had them letterpress the Aran on the spine. They offered to send it down next week via courier. I really wanted you to have it today. I figured you could use a little bastion of hope.
Old friend, you need that hope more than me.
Didn't you know? You're my bastion of hope, Feeny. You. Since I can't be there for you, I ran over to Boston to pick this up.
Worried. Sick. I'm so glad you're okay. I thought you'd gone to find Daniels.
What? No. 8,727 days since that day at Stanford. And I've kept my promise to stay no contact that whole time. Today? Today, I'm going to have to break that promise.
No, you won't. You didn't originate this.
Only counts if you reach out.
I second that.
And I third.
Motion carries.
What motion?
Whatever motion you need in order to know you're not alone today.
Healing warriors.
Yes.
Thank you. Why am I so terrified?
Because you know what? Percy, you interrupted my story.
Yes.
Where was I?
Percy said that your biological father was terrorizing you?
Oh, right. Yeah, no, he didn't show up to my graduation, and my moms were angry. They wouldn't let him near the house, and he just escalated things all summer. So when I stood up to speak in that assembly, I was terrified to see him in the back of the room. He was there, and I was scared. He was going to try to start something. I tried to focus on the speech, and after a bunch of other council members rushed up and kept me on the stage before I could get out and away, I saw him approaching, and I didn't know what to do. And right then, this vortex just runs right up to me and hugs me so tight and says, "Oh my goodness, Phoenix Soleil, old friend, how are you?" And just talking a mile a minute about primary school and have I heard from any of our friends and how much she's missed me. And I realize as she's talking, she's getting me through the crowd and out the stage door.
It was Percy?
Yeah, she talked me all the way outside and then led me to this lab near the quad where she started messing with the lab coats and got me all dressed up in this hazmat getup and these ridiculous glasses, still talking a mile a minute about how I needed to just head back to my dorm and I'd find safety there.
I love it when she does that. I've got this bossing thing around.
I was so stunned, I could barely talk. I managed to ask her how she knew I needed help, and she just stopped and blinked at me confused and said, "Well, we're old friends, right?"
Sounds about right.
Truly. When I got back, Mama Vera was waiting at the dorm. Percy had run over to find campus security and get my dad kicked out. She found us at the cafeteria, and that's when I made her tell me how she'd figured all that out.
Did she tell you right then she was a telepath?
Mama Vera told him.
How did Vera know?
I told Mama Vera that Feeney's dad was after the money.
The money?
Yeah, Feeney's full ride scholarship and housing grant.
Mama Vera knew he was after the money, so when Percy told her that, Vera knew Percy could read thoughts.
I love Vera.
You've met Feeney's moms?
Just Vera. I've never met Jane.
Percy's telepathy didn't scare you?
It scared him to death. He almost couldn't be around me for the first month of school.
How'd you get over it?
Mama Vera told me on that first day that if I had any of the sense she raised me to have, I'd hold on to Percy as a friend forever. Percy saw a need, charged in, saved me, and managed to get us all together for dinner afterward.
Dinner is very important to Mama Vera.
And you two had never met before that day.
Nope.
And now you really are old friends.
We have been old friends from the moment we met. Percy made sure of it.
Anything to keep you out of trouble.
Daniels has worked really hard to keep you two apart, hasn't he?
Everything in his power. At one point, he tried to convince Percy she was attracted to me.
Ew, that's sick. He tried to manipulate your sexuality?
Yeah, but it wasn't really about attraction. He knew he couldn't have access to my emotions if I was bonded to Feeney.
I think we've all seen the power of that bond.
You're each other's bastion of hope.
It sounds so cheesy when we talk about it.
Well, start serving the charcuterie then, because I could use a little emotional support today.
Oh. Truman, I'll be your bastion of hope.
You two are adorable. You know that? Teeny tiny baby healing warriors.
Hey, Truman's not adorable. He's a gardener.
Thank you?
All part of the service, buddy.
I think that Daniels missed something important in his little plot.
What's that?
If Percy can key into Feeney's worst fears from the first moment they met, imagine which she could focus on today.
You know, that's not a bad idea. Feeney, what if you didn't even go in? What if you just stayed out here and you both used the rainbow bridge thingy to communicate?
Not go in? Send her in alone?
It's okay, Phoenix.
I like the idea of making that nozzlehead freak out, but I think it's too much to ask of Percy to keep that channel open. I've seen what that costs.
It doesn't cost too much.
Even a little adds up when you're in trauma mind. No, I'm going in.
We just have to accept that he's got some ace in the hole. We can't predict what he'll do today.
That's right. Good work, Percy.
Dang it. So what do we do instead?
Instead of what?
Addie. Is Dion okay?
Yep. Mommy Percy Calmwave worked like a charm.
That!
What?
That room full calm wave thing. Percy, you taught Truman how to do it, right?
Hardly. She showed me the mechanics of it. It's years of practice, some heightened stuff that I don't have. I'm working on it, but the best I can do is increase my range slightly.
What are you all trying to figure out?
How to be superhuman so we can protect Percy.
How to be a collective bastion of hope.
Ah, so that's where you went this morning, little Miss Go Dark.
Addie, can you communicate with her across space?
No, we've a very different bond.
You do.
Yeah, kind of like the hive mind thing at the Haven. We have a superpower all of our own.
What's that?
Trust. Complete and total trust. It was the only thing I had to offer.
Your brilliant, lovely, well-ordered brain is the sexiest thing about you. I found so much comfort knowing I could retreat to what we built.
Adorable and charming.
And cheesy.
Charcuterie.
So there's nothing we can do.
It's not nothing. We're all going in to face the demon. That's a lot.
Right. So I want to know how I can fight and how I can protect Percy. She's got no armor.
Percy has herself.
What?
Perce, when you figure out how terrified that guy is of losing your supply, you'll realize how much power you really have.
Wait, pause. Say that again.
Daniels wants emotional supply. Percy gives him supply.
No, I don't. I actively try not to give him supply.
He gets supply from you trying not to give him supply.
That's disheartening. No wonder Percy's is terrified.
Thanks for that pep talk. And for talking about me like I'm not here. The test subject thing isn't a trigger at all.
I just want you to see what this looks like from the outside.
What it looks like?
It looks like a rambunctious idiot attempting his last-ditched effort at controlling one of the most powerful people I've ever met.
Inside my head, it looks like he's going to trap me.
He's going to try. We have to pretend that's a given.
Hey, remember my intake?
Yes, clearly. You were quite witty.
And you were completely focused on helping me keep calm. You told me that I had to focus on what I could control.
Good heavens.
I think it's time you took your own advice.
Okay. So, what can I control?
Your reaction.
Hey, that's your superpower, Percy.
Here, I thought it was my telepathy.
No, reading thoughts is a cool and completely terrifying gift. But anytime I need to learn how to control my reactions, I listen to your stream of emotions. You can stop an emotion right in the middle of having it. I think it's why you can do that whole room calm thing.
Yes, wait. I just got that. Can I say it out loud?
Yeah.
You learned that forced composure from enduring Daniel's abuse.
Then it really is a superpower born from your origin story.
I refuse to give him credit.
Absolutely not. He gets credit for abusing you. He gets credit for trying to steal something that wasn't his. He gets credit for all the terrible things he did to you and so many others. But he never gets credit for all the coping skills you built from it. Those are yours.
And yours alone.
It's not only your superpower, it's also your armor.
And in the world of fighting personality disorders, it's called Grey Rock. And I think it's a fabulous strategy. What time is it?
0830.
I need to go do the presser out front. Ready?
Yes,
Addie?
I'm going to do the presser. They want to see a Colossi woman, and Percy shouldn't worry about it this morning.
You're a good partner, Addie.
That's sweet, Truman. Thank you. Percy, kiss me. I'm going to need some luck.
My hero.
You bet your cute little boy I'll be your hero.
I love you.
I love you too, sweets. Stay with Feeny. He needs eyes on you for the next while.
Thank you. Of course.
Truman and I are going to go in and stake out best sight lines and seats.
Persephone,
You sound so serious, Truman.
I'm watching. Remember that I don't need someone who's good at this. I need someone who can be the worst.
Are you trying to scare her?
Nope. I'm trying to remind her that she promised to be an example
An example of what?
of how to fail.
You're the worst.
Nope. I'm a punk. Big difference.
Percy, I don't really have words of wisdom. I just have this.
Thank you. To you both.
You just hugged her.
Yep.
You hate hugging.
No, I don't. I love hugging. I just don't like hugging people who tell Percy they're going to watch her fail.
Now who's the worst?
Were we ever that young?
We've always been old.
Maybe. The book. I highlighted a passage. I know it's criminal on a newly restored page, but I made them do that digital overlay thing, so nothing you do to the pages will damage the archival quality.
Oh, which passage?
Page 366. Will you read it to me?
I know the one. Here. Must I lose everything? Asked Bastian. Nothing is lost, she said. Everything is transformed. He remembered.
I wanted to remind you of that day. I may be terrified out of my mind, but I remember what my advocate taught me a lifetime ago. No encounter with my abuser will ever be safe, but I don't have to accept it as a loss. I can transform anything because it's mine. My brain and heart belong to me, not to him.
You can't know how much I needed to hear you say that.
I suspected as much.
I wish I knew what you need to hear.
I don't even know.
Wait. I do. If I recall. Oh, found it. This one. I want you to read this one to me.
Yes. He replied, I have stored up everything he told us about himself and his world. I vouch for him. Falcor listened. The Fountain wants to know by what right. I am his friend, said Atreyu.
If you lose yourself today, I'll be there to vouch for you.
By what right?
I'm your friend.
Yes, that was exactly what I needed to hear today. Let's go in. I'm ready. And I think Dalton is here. I wanted to see him to ask about all of the things that he's
I'm
been
guessing
doing.
that wall of nothing you just put up is part of the forced composure thing?
Oh. Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Ah. And all this time I thought your superpower was bossing me around.
Oh, no, that's just my favorite pastime.
And you agree to oversight from the Empath Council?
Yes, without restraint or boundary.
Anything else?
I invite the media to continue the live stream of these proceedings.
You're certain?
Yes, I have nothing to hide.
Senator Gold will begin our questioning this morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for being here. I'd like to dive right into questions about your experience with Ms. Jarrett.
Of course.
You entrusted Ms. Jarrett with your caseload before you left for maternity leave.
Yes.
And it was your intention to entrust her with your director logins?
Yes.
Why?
She needed access to my survivor files. She also needed access to survivor communications.
Why is that?
In order to be a resident, survivors must agree to monitoring so that communications to and from their abusers do not result in further abuse.
But convicted abusers are not allowed outside contact from anyone.
Yes, and a perceived lack of response from an abuser can cause further abuse if the survivor is still experiencing trauma mind.
So you monitor the communications from survivors to
Help assess whether or not a survivor needs to be transferred to a more experienced advocate.
And Ms. Jarrett would have been called upon to make a decision like this?
No, but she would have needed to provide the information to Dr. Soleil, who could have made the decision himself.
Why not just give the logins to Dr. Soleil?
He already has them. I have his. We're co-directors.
Why share them with Ms. Jarrett at all, then?
The director position at the Haven includes staff management, reporting, and a caseload. There's no way it can be done by one person. Dr. Soleil needed help.
And you believed Ms. Jarrett could provide that help?
I did.
Do you regret giving Ms. Jarrett that information?
I do not. I still trust her implicitly.
Even with the choices she made?
Yes. Even the most cautious, ethical person can make a mistake, especially in a circumstance where a survivor's safety is on the line. Ms. Jarrett resigned immediately after her actions. She's paid for those actions again and again. Also, I don't hold her accountable for what happened to Mr. Benedict.
Who do you hold accountable?
Me. I gave her the logins, and clearly I didn't spend enough time with her detailing possible outcomes of unsafe situations.
Why didn't you do so?
I didn't think I needed to. I allowed my confidence in the Haven safety record to take precedence, believing that there were checks on the system. Survivors usually spend a lot of time with an empath council before they arrive at the Haven, so there's no need to suspect deception. I didn't believe it was possible for a survivor to lie to us the way Mr. Benedict did. That's my mistake. I've worked with toxic personalities for decades. I know better. Ms. Jarrett didn't.
Thank you. I yield my time.
Senator Daniels?
Here we go.
I apologize, Senator Everett. I need to step out for a moment. One of my aides has an issue.
That's not right.
Percy's okay. She says she's okay. It's okay.
Feeny, we've got you. Breathe.
Do we need to recess?
No. Please, continue without me.
No, we will. Dr. Colossi, you mentioned that you hold yourself accountable for Miss Jarrett's mistake with the logins, but that wasn't referring to her violation of the consent directive?
No. That violation was her choice and her responsibility. She knew better. Dr. Soleil and I trained her to know better, and she has accounted for her choice to put the survivor's safety over her place at the Haven.
With that choice in mind, you still trust her?
Yes. She did what she thought was best for the survivor's safety. The entire consent directive is built on that safety.
But a violation this severe?
Should cost her a loss of advocate status. And it did.
Have there been any other advocates who violated consent?
Yes.
How many?
Other than Miss Jarrett, 3 other advocates, including myself.
With KH, as we've heard, yes?
Yes.
Your violation of that consent was due to your perception that KH's life was in danger?
Yes.
That's 4 total out of how many?
Well over 300.
So the training and selection process seems to be working.
For the most part. Dr. Soleil and I have spent considerable time working with Senator Alcorn's research team to revise and deploy more stringent training and certification for advocates to ensure this never happens again.
Thank you. I yield my time to Senator Gold.
Thank you, Senator Everett. Dr. Colossi, is it true that you served as advocate for the survivor listed as TG?
Excuse me, Senator Gold. Mr. Guthrie has waived his right to anonymity in these proceedings and would like to be identified on the record.
Of course. Thank you. You were Mr. Guthrie's advocate for a time?
Yes.
And during that time, did you have cause to read him?
Yes.
And you secured his permission?
Yes.
And were you able to read him?
No. Mr. Guthrie is a very powerful empath with developed blocks that were unknown to himself in the beginning.
Were you able to read his thoughts?
Occasionally, but rarely outside the line of consent.
But he can read you?
Yes. He's capable of reading the telepathic thoughts I read from others, and sometimes even direct broadcasts.
And you believe he makes a good advocate?
I do, wholeheartedly. He has years of experience as an addiction recovery practitioner, and he's currently undergoing the stringent scrutiny we now give all junior advocates.
Even though he possesses a greater ability than most advocates?
Especially because of that ability.
Do you prioritize exceptional, heightened gifts?
No. We prioritize the intersection of ethical behavior, empathic development, and advocacy best practices. We have many non-heightened advocates at the Haven.
I see. Thank you. I yield my time to Senator Everett.
I'm worried that Daniels isn't back yet. I was really hoping this was only going to be one day. If he's trying to drag this out...
She'll be okay. She's feeling strong.
Feeny, you're doubting that strength.
She's got nothing blocks up. There's places I can't read right now, and I think she's deceiving herself. I think she's hoping he won't return at all.
Fantasy is an empowering tool, right?
Yes, I just don't want her to let her guard down. Gold and Everett are tossing her easy pitches. She's able to explain herself, and she's getting a nice, even rhythm going.
She's got this. Trust her.
Dr. Colossi, have you ever had cause to apologize to Mr. Guthrie?
Yes, and I have done so.
What did you apologize for?
I shared a personal story that caused the session to be about my emotions instead of his. I thought it would work to build trust, but instead it caused him distress.
Are there handbook recommendations about advocate mistakes?
Yes. Advocates are expected to work with the Security Council to apologize and correct the mistake as quickly as possible.
Thank you. Now, I'd like to turn our attention to some of the evidence you submitted in your interrogatories. There was a mention of your qualifying status as... Oh, welcome back, Senator Daniels.
Oh, Feeny, this isn't good.
What are you getting?
He's like a Cheshire cat.
Does Percy know?
No clue. Blocks.
As a heightened receptor verification specialist?
Yes, I am one of only 3 certified heightened receptor verification specialists at the Haven.
Now, would it be a conflict of interest to offer that test during a session as you did?
Not if it helps put the survivor's abuse in context. Many predators use a survivor's heightened gift to coerce a desired response.
Oh, thank you. I yield my time back to Senator Gold.
As I had to yield time to both of you while I attended to some business, I think I should be allowed to have the floor.
Well, the procedure allows for that, yes.
Good. Miss Colossi, do you prioritize safety over following the rules?
I prioritize rules that provide a foundation for safety.
Clever wording there, Miss Colossi. And how do you account for an ethical balance to safety and the rules? What about when they conflict? How do you choose the best outcome?
I prioritize safety. A person's emotional well-being is my primary concern.
But their physical well-being? Do you have any intention of making that your priority?
Of course. And I don't separate a person's emotional and physical well-being. They go hand in hand. You cannot have one without the other.
So your earlier statement just now that you prioritize emotional well-being is incorrect then?
No, I just was trying to...
Oh, come on, Miss Colossi. You're using your words to sidestep the question.
Mr. Chairperson, can we just...
My aide is in process of filing a motion to change Miss Colossi's status in this inquiry to heightened indicted.
Point of order. You cannot file motions without a committee majority present to decide on the motion. With only 3 of you here...
And in answer to that point, Ms. Lynn, there is a majority present. Myself, Everett Gold, and Senator Dalton is sitting in the back and can be asked to step in should there be a basis for such a motion. Procedure states we need a concurrence of at least 3 of 4 from the committee and approval from the Empath Council.
What does heightened indicted mean?
Percy is the subject of the inquiry, but this isn't a criminal investigation, so she can't be accused of a crime. Changing her status to heightened indicted suggests that she may try to cover up a crime discovered during the process of the inquiry. So the Empath Council will be given not only permission, but a directive to read her past the line of consent. It also gives committee members permission to ask more accusatory lines of questioning.
Feeney, Percy isn't okay.
Sonia, if you've got anything, I need help with a comm wave.
On it. Sending her images of warriors with swords.
Wait, they can indict her based on Daniel's request alone?
He has to make a motion. That motion has to have a basis in a declaration.
A declaration from whom?
An accusing victim? There has to be a victim for there to be a reason to get the Empath Council to act as an indicting body.
Percy has a victim?
Oh, that's why Daniels is so happy. He has something on the victim.
There. You see, 3 of 4 agree. Now to the Empath Council. The documented declaration and motion are submitted for your approval.
Point of order. Senator Mycroft is not the chair. He cannot call the Empath Council to...
But I am the senior member of the committee, and as such, I can request Senator Everett call for review.
Yes, and I so order the Empath Council to review the motion and the declaration before the inquiry.
Then I call for a recess. Give them a chance to review.
Unfortunately, Miss Lynn, I'm not permitted to recess while a motion for heightened indicted is in review.
Why not?
Once a motion is allowed to be submitted, the accused may have time to rest their abilities or break the contact bond, thus creating an opportunity to block the Empath Council. Feeney, you have to help her. She's not holding it together.
Wesley's got her too. I'm doing everything I can. Damn you, Daniels. Damn you straight to hell.
Darn you, Daniels.
He looks so pleased with himself.
You think that's bad. His thoughts.
The worst. He's the literal, real worst. Breathe, Sonia.
Mr. Chairperson, my client would like to... You're sure? In lieu of the motion and this line of questioning, my client would be willing to submit to being questioned while connected to Insight.
No! That's going to make it worse.
She knows what she's doing. Wesley walked us through all of this last week. Percy offered this to begin with, and Wesley said it should be a last resort.
Unfortunately, Miss Lynn, the insight is not an acceptable alternative when there is a declaration of a potential victim in play.
Does Percy get to read the declaration? No one is giving her anything. Isn't that some right or something? The right to confront your accuser?
She gets to read it after the Empath Council has made a decision to allow the indictment. It's meant to protect victims so they can come forward without fear of retaliation. If the Empath Council decides not to use the motion declaration, then there is no accuser.
Daniels is using the very systems Percy built to protect victims against her.
I'd like to shove his ethics right up.
Sonia, please stay calm. Percy needs our calm.
Shh. They've reached a decision. Look.
Please let the record show that the Empath Council has entered a heightened indictment against Dr. Persephone Colossi.
He did it. I don't know how, but he did it.
Look, her hands were shaking when the bailiff handed her the digidocs. Oh, Percy. Truman, who is it? Who's on the declaration?
I don't know. Percy's completely blocked right now.
Feeny?
She won't let me within a light year. I can't read anything.
Persephone, no blocks. You promised to let us help.
Are you ready to continue?
Yes, we're ready.
With the review of this document...
Point of order, Mr. Chairperson.
What?
I have not yielded my time, and I believe I still have 3 rounds of questioning to get through.
I believe it's only 2.
Oh, no. It's 3. I have the 2 I missed and my current round. Shall we?
Of course, Senator.
Now then, Ms. Colossi, you've had a chance to read the declaration associated with my motion?
Yes, Professor Daniels, I have.
Oh, excuse me. Point of order, Mr. Chairperson. With parliamentary procedure, the subject is required to address me by my official committee title, Senator Daniels.
So reminded. Please address him as Senator Daniels.
I'm waiting for your client, Ms. Lynn.
You have to answer again per the rules of procedures.
I hate that man so much right now.
Of course. I apologize, Senator Daniels. Yes, I've had a chance to review the document.
And in this declaration, we get to hear from a potential victim. Who is that, Miss Colossi?
Point of order, Mr. Chairperson. If we are to agree to parliamentary procedure, then I ask that all committee members refer to me by my proper title as well.
Of course. So reminded. Senator Daniels, you will need to restate your question.
Well, in this declaration, we get to hear from a potential victim, Dr. Colossi. Please tell us who signed this declaration.
Take that, nozzle. Say her name, you worthless slime fribble.
One of my former survivors, known to this proceeding as KH.
And where is KH at this time?
The declaration states that she is currently in the trauma wing of an unnamed hospital.
Why is that?
She attempted to take her own life 3 nights ago.
Does the declaration state why she did so?
Yes.
What does the declaration state?
That she has been charged with involuntary manslaughter after she took the life of her abuser.
And why did she do that?
Her abuser threw their toddler son down a flight of stairs during an abusive rage.
And you still want us to believe that someone's safety is your priority. If you hadn't broken the rules, KH would not have left the hospital those 5 years ago. And she would not have gone on to have her abuser's son. And she would not have returned to him. Isn't that right?
No, that's not entirely accurate. KH was given several opportunities and options for continuing her time at the Haven. Dr. Soleil offered her both part-time and full-time residence. KH also received weekly contact from Dr. Soleil's office for the first 3 months after her initial stay with us.
But your precious rules superseded a victim's safety.
Those rules are the foundations of her safety. I will not force a victim to heal. The research bears out the wisdom of that best practice. We go at a survivor's pace.
But you yourself have said in the past, and I'm reading from an article you yourself authored, Miss Dr. Kalassi, and I quote, "No one should have to feel hostage to their own brain." Isn't that what KH experienced? And surely you would never ask that she endure further torment by removing yourself from her care.
The research is clear, Senator Daniels. Forcing a survivor to leave their abuser only leads to long-term, unresolved trauma on top of the existing trauma from the abuse. No matter how much pain they may endure without our support, we must encourage healing at their pace.
Such an eloquent way to say that you will not take responsibility for your victim's pain.
I will
Point of
absolutely
order,
take
Mr.
responsibility
Chairperson.
for the
Dr.
guidance and
Kalassi has
support
not yet been
You're
established.
absolutely right, Miss Lynn. The recorder will strike Senator Daniels' last statement from the record.
Of course. I'll rephrase. KH is in pain. She's suffering. If safety is the primary goal and she is not currently safe, the system has failed her. Wouldn't you agree, Dr. Kalassi?
I'm struggling to enjoy the moments he has to call her doctor because he keeps using the title in the middle of a question that makes me want to remove his eyeballs from his head.
Sonia, please.
Not sorry, I'm trying to give Percy a little spitfire.
I would agree that KH does not have access to what she needs at this time.
That's not what I asked. Mr. Chairperson, please direct the respondent to answer the question.
Dr. Kalassi?
I do not believe this system has failed her.
How empathetic of you. I yield my time to Senator Everett.
Dr. Kalassi, why do you support this system?
The research. It's clear. No matter how much we want to reach in and pluck a survivor from a situation where they are addicted to their abuser, the addiction will be much worse if we do so. KH is actually evidence of that. She was pulled from her abuser's grasp because he was trying to kill her, and that still did not stop her return to him.
Is there anything more you could have done under the current statutes? Dr. Kalassi?
Yes, I could have done something.
And what is that?
After listening to the recording and evidence, I believe that if I hadn't pushed her to talk about the divorce, she would not have had the adverse reactions she had.
What could you have done instead?
Respected her pace, allowed her to talk about the things she needed to discuss, and given her the chance to raise the issue of the divorce on her own.
What best practices have you introduced as a result of these errors?
We use a handful of cases like KH's to understand the difficulty of interfering with a survivor's instinctive draw toward healing. We focus on empowering all survivors through tools, information, insight, and advocacy. In that study, we strive to use heightened empathy.
And telepathy?
Yes. We use these heightened gifts to understand a survivor's feelings and thoughts about their abuse.
Thank you. I yield my time to Senator Gold.
There are several cases of a survivor's children reporting the abuse, aren't there?
Yes.
What makes those cases different?
Children of the abuser are victims too, so they can report and be offered a place at the Haven.
So that could be a case of a fellow victim doing the reporting?
Yes, and the survivor's children are invited, not forced, to stay at the Haven.
Thank you. I yield my time.
Let's review where we are, shall we? The witness has stated that she believes she made mistakes in the case of KH, and the Empath Council has allowed for a motion to be filed. As such, there's a platform for the witness to talk about freedom and choice. I would like to refer to evidence submitted by my office. Block D-L, all sections inclusive. Data and research that refutes Dr. Kalassi's claims about what's best for patients who are seen by so-called advocates. I would also like to direct the committee's attention to previous testimonies of both advocates, friends, and experts alike. Dr. Kalassi is once again perpetrating a gross deception of her character, trying to convince us that she has—
Point of order, Mr. Chairperson. Dr. Kalassi is on the stand. Procedure rules state that if committee members wish to present evidence in summary, they must do so when the witness stand is empty. Is Senator Daniels summarizing because he wishes to dismiss Dr. Kalassi?
Yes, thank you, Miss Lynn. Senator Daniels, please refrain from summarizing unless you'd like to—
I am not finished with this witness.
Then the time is yours to question her.
My aide is filing another declaration at this time.
Another declaration?
In conjunction with the same motion, I have another declaration from a potential victim.
Is that allowed?
I don't know.
Point of order.
Yes.
Did the motion indicate that multiple declarations were allowed?
No, it does not state that.
In that case, it falls to the chairperson to poll the members of the committee. Standing majority of inquiry members is acceptable.
I agree to allow the declaration.
As do I.
That is a majority. Please deliver the declaration to the Empath Council, Senator Daniels.
Percy's crashing. This is worse than the day you brought us the news about Ben, Feeney.
Two declarations. Who else could have been convinced?
Sonia, what's that? I just got that doubt?
I'm considering all the evidence, that's all.
Feeney? What's that?
If Percy has two people who feel like they are her victims, we need to consider their stories. As advocates, we made a promise.
If Percy was with us, she'd say the same thing.
Has everyone had a chance to review the new declaration?
So, Dr. Kalassi, who is this declaration about?
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
I just got something through her block.
What was it?
She said, "I'm sorry."
Uh-oh.
I respectfully decline to answer the question, citing my Fifth Amendment right to silence.
Excuse me.
I respectfully decline to answer the question, citing my Fifth Amendment right to silence.
I see. In that case, I am finished with this witness. I yield my time.
Dr. Kalassi, are you invoking your right as pertains to any questions about the victim in this declaration?
I am.
Even though you are currently a suspect under the statutes, in accordance with your indictment?
Yes.
Then I believe a recess is in order. We will reconvene next Tuesday to accommodate the holiday. Until then.
Percy?
85.
I think it would be best for us to go
No,
back.
85.
Feeney's struggling with this as much as you are, Percy.
It's okay. I'm fine. Tell me about 85.
It's your darkest fear.
Let's refocus all of this on—
Wait. What's his darkest fear?
Well, there's the one he tells himself.
What one is that?
That they'll come up against something during the inquiry that would mean Percy couldn't continue as director.
Yes, I'm terrified of that. But not as terrified as what I'm getting from you right now, Percy. What's 85?
Kari's declaration, number 85.
Wesley?
What's his darkest fear?
That something in the inquiry will make it so I don't want to continue.
Wesley, what does it say?
It says a bunch of things that Daniels wants you to question, Percy.
Just read it.
KH says, I believe that Dr. Kalassi has used coercion and gaslighting to manipulate my attachment to her.
It goes on. 86. Read it.
KH says I feel victimized by Dr. Kalassi.
You can't
possibly-
I most certainly can. Because there's more. Another declaration, right? Number 52.
I really don't think this is...
I'll read it.
Okay. It's right here.
The declaration is from someone named MR. Number 52 says, I was lied to and manipulated by Sephi, and as a result, I felt victimized by her gaslighting and control.
Who is Sephi?
Me. It was what Mycroft called me, so everyone at the encampment called me that too.
Oh, Percy, that pain is dark.
MR? Encampment. That's why the 5th, huh? Let me guess. Classified?
You know I can't answer that.
We all know you just did.
What I don't know is how to stop you from going down this path. I mean, is there a tool or something?
You can't
that-
stop me because I'm already down the path. For weeks now, I've sat in a room surrounded by VidCons that let the whole world witness my former mentor, someone who knows my darkest secrets, this senator constructing one of the most horrifyingly convincing arguments that I'm unsafe, manipulative, abusive. And though I've also been surrounded by advocates the entire time who would do anything to protect me from that argument, these declarations have finally just made
I'm
it
so sorry, Percy.
Best practices apply to victims, Truman. And in case you haven't noticed, I'm not the victim here. He's right.
MR?
No, Mycroft. From everything I did at the encampment to all the people I've manipulated over the years, I see it so plainly. And now, Kari deserves to be believed. MR deserves to be heard. I can't believe I didn't see it before. And so, it's on record with the court.
And public opinion.
Yeah, I don't care about that.
Sweet, 2 people is difficult, yes, but...
4.
What?
Wesley.
Ben and Daniels both entered declarations of their own.
Daniels did what?
I get it. None of you want to see Mycroft as a victim. But Ben?
Ben is a flying... Percy, he's only going to feel victimized because Daniels told him to.
No, after a discard that harsh, Ben was a complete basket case of rage. I guarantee he's not going to do anything that would benefit Mycroft at this point.
When did he file the declaration?
Today.
Yep. So you see, Truman, I'm the one who needs to apologize. Because I am the manipulator. I'm the abuser.
You really believe that, don't you?
I believe the victims. It's not up to me to say whether or not someone feels victimized by me. Kari is one of the sweetest beings of light I've ever met. I can't fathom her saying something like that without an underlying foundation of unimaginable pain.
Percy? Snap out of it.
Sonia, no.
No, I'm serious. You, Percy, super advocate extraordinaire, are not going to let that horrible, tiny, wannabe human have the satisfaction of thinking he got to you. Now snap out of it!
I truly appreciate what you're trying to do, Sonia. But when, in the history of ever, have we disbelieved a victim's statement? Let alone 4.
3.
2.
Is believing victims a best practice?
No, and it shouldn't be. We didn't even write a best practice regarding believing victims because we both felt like that would be insulting. Victims deserve to be believed and supported. We didn't want to hinge support for victims upon belief, so it's a foundational core of all other tools and practices. Believe victims, full stop.
Oh my stars! You're going to let her just give us this load of horse pucky?
Self-blame has a place in healing.
Seriously, Feeny, you're just handing her the weapon she needs to continue this self-flagellation.
No, this isn't self-blame. It's accepting what I've done, what I am. Nope, Truman, I'm not doing the you have to defend me to myself thing. In fact, if you start that, I am gonna... Let me make this easy on everyone. Consider this my resignation.
Why's that?
You can't have a director who has 4 on-record declarations from victims. The Haven will never survive.
You would just quit the Haven?
Yes.
Because 4 people said they felt victimized by you?
Don't do that.
Do what? Defend the truth? I hate that you're doubting yourself this way.
We all hate it.
I'm sorry. I can tell this is really hurting all of you.
It is. This is a blaze of hurt unlike any other.
I'm getting that. I'm so sorry.
Yes. And if we had the time, I'd let you keep doing the whole feel the self-blame thing.
Who said we don't have time? I resigned. So we don't need to continue the charade of an inquiry and all of the other
We
things
don't
that
have
accompany.
time because you need a new line here, old friend.
I'm not going to engage with that kind of
Bullshit.
Phoenix. Now's
Persephone Jean Abrams. Don't think for 1 second that you can fool me.
Abrams.
Colossi is her adopted grandmother's name.
Persephone Jean, huh?
PJ. I like it.
See what you've done?
Yep. I've just vouched for you, and I'm about to do it again.
How is that vouching for me?
I have known you that long, Percy. I know your life. I know where you came from. I know you. And I know that you love that your office is on the top floor of the Haven, not because status, but because of how safe a survivor feels there. I know how hard you work to get your coral belt. Also, you'd be ready to physically defend a victim should the need arise. I know the look in your eyes when you've returned from hell itself. I know how broken you were when you came back from the encampment. And I know how much you melt when you hold Dion in your arms. I know how you glow when you've made Addie happy. I know what lights your soul on fire, old friend. If there was anyone in this world who was going to see you for who you really are, it's me.
Bravo, Feeny.
Remember what you said to Alcorn after our first failed meeting on the justice reform?
I really can't do this.
Good! Then let me. You said we had to keep trying because you would rather lose your reputation than risk another victim getting stuck in an abusive relationship.
Kind of like her not caring about public opinion a minute ago?
Yes, like that. And you continue to seek out research that may prove our methods wrong. No one says I was wrong more than you, old friend.
Best Feeny list ever.
When I told you how I was hurt just now, I got both sides of that. Part of you curls up in agony, and the other part of you rises up through that agony to fight so I'll be protected. You can't even bear the thought of someone else's pain.
Feeny, we've taken this far enough.
Nope, not nearly. What was it you said to Rose in my office? Oh, right, because this is Haven, and we don't let abusers have the final say here. Persephone, Mycroft Daniels does not get to decide who you are. You are not the abuser here.
I don't believe you.
I vouch for you.
By what right?
I am your friend. And I know you.
I know there should be some release here. Acceptance. Some huge crying thing or something. But you say all those beautiful things, and I still don't believe you.
I think that's one of the best descriptions of trauma mind I've ever heard.
Sonia's right. I'm taking Percy home. Wesley, do we need to worry about the press?
I did send my PR team around front to take the questions, so that should buy us some time.
So Percy needs to get out of
Stop
here.
it! Stop it! Stop talking about me like I'm not here!
Oh, sweet. Come on. Get in the transport. We'll go straight home, okay?
You two take the first one. We'll catch the next one.
Wait. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for... I need to say thank you.
You just did. Addie will get you home. Rest, okay?
Self-care first. Thank you. I'm sorry.
We'll come tomorrow to figure out next steps.
Until then, rest.
Feeny, you're not okay. Where's Ashley?
Work. I'm supposed to go there, but I kind of want to just go home and hug my daughters and cry. You're sure they didn't get anything from that? Daniels was horrible.
The council confirmed everything he did was legal, coercion-free.
Damn. Can you send me those declarations? I want to see exactly how everything's worded.
Yes. Oh, dear.
What?
They're calling Percy back as the first witness on Tuesday.
They're calling her back? After that? They think she's going to... what?
They can continue asking questions as long as they'd like. I think Daniels is hoping she'll break down and answer if he just keeps her on the stand.
That's torture. That doesn't count as manipulation, criminal, anything?
It's considered a legal tactic because Percy has both me and the Empath Council present to defend her, so sadly, no.
Wow. Making a mental note for the next reform.
How fast can one learn jujitsu? Because we could just get me and Daniels alone.
If I accept Percy's resignation, can we let them know she's no longer affiliated with the...
Nope. Not. No.
Right. I'm with Sonia. No. Accepting her resignation is the wrong move. Beyond the mental break that would cause her, the public would never forgive it.
She'll have a cloud of suspicion over her forever.
Then I think it's finally time. Have you two got everything set?
Yes. We can have everyone here Monday morning, if that'll work.
Yes. Addie has a plan to keep Percy distracted for the next day or so.
Monday it is. Where?
The conference room next to Percy's office. It's big enough.
Done. Mind if I ride with you? The transport can drop me on the way to your place.
I'd be glad of the company. Wesley?
I'm headed out front to rescue my PR team.
Sonia?
No, I'm meeting a friend.
Thank you. All of you. For everything. I don't know what I would have done without you.
Happy to help. See you Monday.
See you Monday.
Hey. Hi, Sonia.
Hi, Ben.
Thanks for meeting me. What did Jeanette say?
She said that so long as you feel safe, it's okay. There are no more subpoenas or advocates. So we should be able to talk with no ethical violations.
Sonia, I need help. Please.
I'm sorry you're in so much pain. What did you want to talk about?
My sister? She's in trouble.
Your sister?
Yeah. Kari. She needs help, and I need someone who can help her.
Kari is your sister?
Yeah, and she's not doing too good right now, but I have an idea of how to help her, and I need you to make it work.
How do I know this isn't some trick?
Listen, read past the line of consent, okay? Read it all. I've put all of my blocks down. Just
Ben,
read it.
You're an empath?
Yeah. An empath who fell in love with a malignant narcissist. An empath who did terrible things because an empath who just wanted to save his sister from the unbearable pain. No more.
Ben, let it out. I'm so sorry that happened to you. I'm here, Ben. I'm here.
Hey, it's Percy and Feeney here. What you've just heard is a work of fiction, but we know that many listeners are living in a world of pain that isn't fictional at all.
At the end of every episode, we're going to include an appendix of sorts. Some things we hope will serve those who live with the reality of fear and pain every day.
First, we want to let you know about our website, www.empowering.tools, where we keep an ongoing list of books, websites, hotlines, and many other resources for victims and survivors of toxic relationships.
Second, we love to hear from you. If you'd like to share your story with us or let us know how the episode impacted you, we'd love for you to reach out. These are deeply emotional things, and we want to give you a chance to share. We're a small team, so an in-depth response isn't always possible, but we do read every message we receive.
Third, if you're in crisis or you need to find an immediate way out, please call 800-799-7233 for the National Domestic Abuse Hotline. If your abuser is a parent or a non-romantic relationship, there are other resources we've listed on the website that are just for you.
A reminder, emotional violence is still violence. You don't need to have bruises on your body to deserve help, and it's okay to feel what you're feeling when you call.
Fourth, be safe. For some, getting out will take planning and time. If you know you need help, do what you need in order to safely get away.
Lastly, We know how difficult it can be to believe there's hope on the other side of a toxic relationship.
Many on our team know the devastatingly difficult steps it takes to get away from an abusive predator.
But there is hope. You don't have to do it alone. If you don't have supportive family or friends, you can still find support at the hotlines we mentioned earlier or at a local hospital or shelter.
Thousands of survivors have made it out. Getting out and reclaiming your freedom can be your story.
We believe in you.
We believe in your future.
And we believe in your right to that freedom.